Hi, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad I'm here. And this is my very first Facebook Live, and I'm excited to finally be doing it. And this is my first one, so be patient with me. What we're talking about today is doing it scared, which is kind of ironic since I am scared on my mind. So, what I wanted to start with is if you're here live with me, just go ahead and post in the comments that you're here. I'd love to know who you are and where you're checking in from. And then let me know that you can hear me. I want to make sure that my microphone is working and you can hear me and see me and everything's good to go. Okay. So, what I'm going to talk about is why we procrastinate on getting control of our finances. It's something that I've done in the past, and so I understand what drives us to procrastinate. I've procrastinated on doing a Facebook Live for a number of weeks, so I get it. And if you have any comments as I go through, um, when I'm talking about financial confidence and success, just post your comments, your questions in the comment box in the chat box. Let me know that you've got a question, and I'll try to get to those as we go through the information. So go ahead and type any reasons that you can think of that you would procrastinate on your finances. And I'll talk about a couple that I'm aware of. First, we're scared. I think another one is we don't want to fail. We don't know where to start, is one that I've heard a lot. And I think the biggest one is we think that we don't want to be restricted. And so that's a big one that I'll talk about. And so with all of these problems, and I'm sure there's a whole list of others, but these are the ones that I'm going to talk about today. And so with those, what is the problem? Why are they a problem? The problem is that when we procrastinate, then we don't start. And when we don't start, we stand still. And we don't get anywhere by standing still. So if we want to go somewhere in our financial life, then we need to stop standing still. And so let's take a look at each of these thoughts that causes us to procrastinate. These reasons that we procrastinate, of course, are all lies that our brains are telling us. And so we're going to get rid of some of these lies for your brain so that you can stop believing them. Okay. So, first, we're scared. The thought behind that fear might sound something like, I might be in worse shape than I think, so I don't want to know. And the truth is that we do lots of things scared. In our lives, we do all kinds of things without being sure or by being scared. So, one, we have kids. Now, full disclosure, I don't have kids, but I know lots of kids and I know lots of parents. And that first one is pretty scary. You know, you don't think you're going to do things right, or you're scared that you're going to mess them up for the rest of their life, or they'll need therapy or, or whatever. But so we have kids. We go to haunted houses around Halloween. Halloween's coming up. So if you've gone to a haunted house, I don't go to haunted houses. I don't watch scary movies because I don't like being scared. But if you've ever gone to a haunted house or a scary movie, then you do that scared, right? You just know it's going to be okay. We get married. You know, how many people, you know, get up to the altar and we think, oh my gosh, what am I doing? And so, but we do it scared. We do it anyway. And then later on, we're glad about it, you know. Um, and then we teach our children how to drive. That's hello, very scary, right? Some kids, take a little while to get it. I don't think I was that kid, but I guess that's a matter of opinion. So being scared is completely normal, and it doesn't mean stay at home in bed and don't try anything. It just means you're human. That's all it means. So it's okay to be scared. We can do it anyway. I was scared getting on this first Facebook Live, but I'm doing it scared. I'm doing it anyway. Hey, Tammy, glad you're here. And so the other reason is we don't want to fail. This is a big problem with a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we are scared to do because we'll fail, and finances is one of them. The truth is that there are a lot of things that we don't want to fail. I'll go back to my first list, having kids. We don't want to do the wrong thing or mess them up for life, right? But we do it anyway. We get married again. We teach our kids to drive. Who knows if they're gonna, get in an accident as soon as they get out of the driveway, but we do it anyway. So what's the worst thing that will happen if you fail? You'll have to feel your feelings about something not working. So maybe it doesn't work. The best thing that will happen if you fail is that what doesn't work and you won't try that again. Okay. So when we make mistakes, we're not failing. We're learning how to become successful. And we don't do that unless we just keep trying. Okay. So we don't know where to start. That can be a reason why we don't, we procrastinate on our finances. Just start where you are. There is no wrong place to start. If we're standing still, we're not starting. So if at least if you're starting, you're moving forward and you're trying. It's okay to learn as you go. We weren't born knowing everything, but we were born capable of learning whatever we want to do. So just start with knowing where you are. And part of that means understanding some of the things about your finances. What's your household income? What money do you have coming into your household in an average month, in an average year? Because sometimes, we get income that's not monthly. Sometimes we get bonuses, Christmas bonuses, annual bonuses, commission checks, quarterly, monthly. So whatever income you have coming in, include your take-home pay from full or part-time jobs, rental income, investment income, child support, unemployment, disability, retirement distributions. If it's money coming into your accounts or it's even in cash, then include it. The other thing you need to know is, what are your household expenses? What money do you have going out every month? Don't forget to include some stuff doesn't have a regular payment. You'll think of the electric bill and the water bill and the cable bill and stuff like that. But don't forget about your charitable giving. That might not come on a regular basis unless you have it taken out of your check each month, or out of your bank account each month, or your savings, your regular monthly bills, as well as your non-monthly expenses like homeowners insurance, property taxes, those things that only get paid once or twice a year. And don't forget other expenses that don't happen every month. Things that you want to save up for, like Christmas gifts, co-pays or deductibles if you have a procedure or you go to the doctor, car repairs, home repairs, and things like that. Next, you're going to look at your household savings. What savings accounts do you have? What brokerage and investment accounts do you have? What trust funds, retirement accounts, cash savings do you have? And then you want to look at your assets. What do you own? Your house, your car. Here, you're also not looking for just things that you own, but also things that you own that you could potentially sell to bring in additional income if you happen to need it. So things that you could potentially sell are things that you just have around that you're not loving or you're not using. Things you could list on Craigslist or have a yard sale, tell people at work or at church or in groups on Facebook that, about these things that you're wanting to get rid of. Think of anything in your house that you're not using, or jewelry, cars, kids, pets. No, just kidding. Don't want to sell your kids or your pets. But they could be assets. Then next, you're going to go to your debts. What do you owe? And here you want to look at your credit cards, any unsecured personal loans that you have, car loans, home loans, home equity lines of credit, loans that you've gotten from family or friends. And then once you gather all this information together, it'll give you an idea of where you are right now. And it could surprise you. It could be a good surprise. It could be a bad surprise. But the first and most important thing is that you know exactly what you're dealing with. And that is really the first step to getting a handle on your finances. So for many of us, when it comes to our finances, we would rather not look at them, right? Because those 4 reasons. We're scared, we don't know what we're going to find. So we act like we're in a scary movie. And we kind of close our eyes and, we'll peek through every now and then and see what's going on. And then we'll close our eyes again and then we'll peek through, and have you ever played pin the tail on the donkey? So you're blindfolded, you get spun around. So there's not a whole lot of chance that you're going to actually pin that tail on the part of the donkey where it belongs, right? So, and you're probably lucky if you even end up anywhere on the donkey's body. I mean, usually you just end up in some, space over here. And if you do hit a part of the donkey's body, then it's nowhere near where a tail's supposed to go, right? It's on the ear, the neck, or the foot. But somehow we think it's a good plan to play pin the tail on the donkey with our finances, right? And just like that tail, it's only a good plan if you don't care where you end up. So that's the first step, is finding out where you are. Then start there. And once you have all this information gathered, you're going to use it to develop a monthly budget. Visit this budget every month before the month begins. And that's important because you're going to want to set aside a time to work on the budget before the start of the month so that you can give every dollar that you expect to come in a specific job. So these $125, I'm going to give them the job of paying the electric bill. These $350, I'm going to give them the specific job of buying our groceries for the month. And then so on and so forth. And you'll go down each and every dollar that you have in income until you run out of dollars. And then hopefully you run out of dollars before you run out of expenses. But at the end of each month, you're going to be a good manager, and you're going to check back in with those dollars that you've given jobs to, and you're going to make sure that they did the specific jobs that you assigned to them. You're going to learn from that month. You're going to make adjustments to the following month, and then you're going to prepare the budget for the new month. And so it usually takes about 3 months to get your budget figured out when you first start doing it. And so don't beat yourself up when you find, that you go over, or you were way off on one area or category. It's just a learning opportunity. You're just learning where your money goes each month, and then you make adjustments as you go. It's not a big deal. So just give yourself some grace during this time. When you beat yourself up, you send a signal to your brain that this was not a good idea. And then you give your brain the excuse to resist that process each month, and it will resist the process if you don't manage your thinking. And so don't let your brain sabotage your efforts with negative self-talk, and just nip it in the bud. So last reason that we wanted to procrastinate on our finances was we didn't want to be restricted. And so the definition of a budget is a plan of action for achieving quantified objectives, the standard for measuring performance, and that's, the performance of those dollars that you gave specific jobs to, and a device for coping with foreseeable adverse situations. So that's where you want to save up and get a cushion or an emergency fund, and you do that by setting aside money in your budget. to cope with adverse situations. So, the water heater goes out, or the air conditioner goes out, or your car breaks down. Those are foreseeable adverse situations, right? And the reason they're foreseeable is because we know that these things happen in life. We are very familiar with Murphy. And so Murphy is going to, sometimes put a kibosh on our plans. And so we want to set aside money for those times when Murphy shows up. And so that was the definition of a budget, a plan of action for achieving objectives. And so those will be your financial goals that we're not going to talk about this time, but we'll talk about in a future Facebook Live. A standard for measuring performance, making sure those dollars are doing their job, and a device for coping with foreseeable adverse situations. So being ready for future things that go wrong in life. So you'll notice that in this definition of a budget is nowhere in there does it say make your life miserable or restrict you. Okay? So I want your brain to hear that loud and clear. The other thing I'll say about a budget is it's very personal. It should be unique to you because you have unique needs, values, and priorities. And my priorities and values are going to be different than yours. Yours may include, you may like to travel. I may like to buy clothes and shoes. We each have our own priorities and our own needs. So just want to remember that your budget is your budget, and it should reflect your unique needs, values, and priorities. So I want you to try this exercise later on, or as I'm talking. Write down the top 10 things that you value in your life. The top 10 things that you value in your life. What do you value? Do you value family time? Do you value time with folks at church? Do you value travel? Do you value your home? Write down the top 10 things that you value. And the next thing I want you to do is write down the top 10 things that you need in your life. So these are necessities. Write down the top 10 things that you need in your life. And these two lists, the top 10 values and the top 10 needs, are going to make your needs and values. And after covering necessities like food, shelter, and clothing, and transportation, then your budget should reflect what you need and what you value most. Okay? So, like I said, budget is personal, so it should reflect what you need and what you value. And that's why you have to do a budget. Nobody can do it for you. So if your budget doesn't line up with your needs and values, it decreases the likelihood that you're going to stick to your budget. And if you're not going to stick to your budget, then, that's a problem, because then you did this budget that aligns with your goals, and you may not be able to achieve your goals. So it's important that your budget line up with your needs and values so that you'll stick to it, and so that you'll have a compelling reason to achieve those goals. And so how you think about a budget is not really about the budget. It's about your mindset around money. And so if you are thinking that you don't want to be restricted, and that is causing you to procrastinate about getting your finances straight, then it's because your mindset around money is that way. So if you have an abundance mindset, you'll see a budget as a wonderful tool to help you do more with your money. But if you have a scarcity mindset, you'll see it as a restriction. And I just want you to know that you can choose your mindset by choosing the beliefs you have about money. I see a couple other people join, so I just want to welcome Trey. Thanks for joining. And Suzanne, thanks for coming on. And Chris and Mary, good to see you. So we've just been covering how to do it scared, and this is about how to stop procrastinating about getting your finances straight. And so I've been talking about the reasons that we procrastinate, and how to stop procrastinating and how to change our mindset around that. So we're almost finished. And so I hope you go back. If you joined late, go back and check it out after it's over. And if you have any questions or if you have any thoughts about it, just post it in the comments. Almost 80% of people living in the US are living paycheck to paycheck. And a budget is a really great tool that helps us be more intentional about how we use our money to achieve our financial goals. So hopefully this session helps you get a better understanding why people procrastinate about taking control of finances, and why we should just plan to do it scared, like I did this first Facebook Live. If you don't do it scared, you probably won't do it at all. So if you want to know any more about anything that I've mentioned here, I would love to connect with you. Just email me at moremoneysense@gmail.com, and I'll post this in the comments, to request a free, no obligation coaching session to learn more. And that's moremoneysense, CENTS, @gmail.com. I look forward to helping with your financial confidence, and I'll see you on the next Facebook Live. Thanks, everybody, and I hope to see you again soon. Have a great day.